Guys, and welcome back to another lap guide here on the Coach Dave Academy YouTube channel. My name is Emery. We're for week 3 at the Mugello circuit in Italy. Let's go on with the hot lap. So let's get into the hot lap guide then for the Mugello circuit. So obviously start on the pit straight here, down towards turn 1. Very, very long pit straight here. So good for some overtakes on the brakes. But yeah, heading down to turn 1, make sure we're just opening the corner as much as we can on the curb on the left-hand side here. And then spotting our braking point just before this white line, in line with the pit exit cone. On the brakes quite heavily, about 80%, and just trailing it into the apex. Very, very long corner, and that's kind of a theme with the Mugello circuit in general. Absolute tyre killer for the front left and the front tyres in general, really, just with the long radius corners, especially in this Porsche Cup car, which likes to understeer a lot in the high speed. Yeah, so just look out for your tyre wear in the races, because the tyres do fall off quite quickly here. Yeah, as I was saying, quite a long radius for turn 1, so you want to just sort of go around the curb. You don't want to use the apex curb too much, just want to sort of go around it, take the line of least resistance, and then get on the power as early as you can. Also notice we're driving slightly towards the apex initially, so we're not taking a nice wide line, sort of just V'ing the corner off. But holding it in second gear, getting on the power as early as we can, hold it in the middle of the circuit on the exit, and then pull it back to the right-hand side, using all of the curb you can on the right before we turn in for the chicane. Now these yellow sausages are fine to use. They don't unbalance the car too much. Just obviously don't go too far across them because you'll pick up an off track. So just watch out for that. And then flick it back across to the right. These ones, a bit of an outlier because you don't really want to touch these ones as much. For some reason, these ones unsettle the car a bit more than the others. So you see we're just driving around them slightly, just hitting the edge of them, but not going right over them like we did for the first lot. On the power as early as we can, rear end gets away from us slightly, and then on the power, the track limits generally are the edge of the curb, so as long as you're one set of wheels on the curb, you're right, as we are there. And then again, flick it back to the right hand side. So yeah, coming into this next chicane, pretty similar to the last one in terms of the layout, just a left-right chicane, using all of the curb on the outside here just to open up the corner, and then into the first one, using a lot of the sausage curb, and then making sure we've got a really nice open run for the right-hander as it leads into a little bit of a straight, and then full throttle around here, big lift at the apex, and then back on full throttle again, just keeping it within track limits, and then again opening up the corner as much as you can. You have quite a lot of curves to use in Mugello, so make the use of them if you can. Using all of the apex curb, again completely all over the runoff here, and completely off the track, but it's absolutely fine. And then a big lift, slight dab of the brake as well on entry. These are the corners that are really going to kill your tyres, especially your front ones. So just look out for that. You can see just we've got a lot of lock on here, and it's quite high speed, so you're just scrubbing the tyres. But yeah, slight dab of the brake just to get the nose in, let the car run out, full throttle, back across to the left-hand side. Make sure we've opened up the corner again. Slight dab of the brake on the way in. Again, very long corner. This is really going to kill. These next two corners are really going to kill your front left tyre. So yeah, just be careful in the race. You're not absolutely destroying them. Just do bear in mind that they are going to die. But then back on full throttle, let the car run out all the way to the edge of the track. Just open up this next one. Slight dab of brake on the entry, and then back on full throttle as early as you can, and just let the car run out. Head back down the hill, and then heavy on the brake pedal into this next chicane. Not really too much in terms of braking references. You can use this white bit in the barrier here as a reference, or this is quite a good reference that I use sometimes, just with this this strip here of tarmac. But yeah, not braking too hard as we are braking downhill. Use all of the sausage curb again on the inside. Just open up this next one, and then flick it across slightly on the sausage curb. You saw that one is actually, it raises your car a bit more in the air. So just watch out for that one. You can't take as much. But yeah, let the car run out all the way to the edge of the track, into the final couple of corners. Another corner similar to turn one, where you've got a big long radius sort of hairpin. Turning in really early here, so you notice we're not taking a nice wide line. We're braking sort of on the curb and just veering off the corner into the apex there. That's your first apex. And then still on the brakes, and that's your second apex there. And then back on full throttle as early as we can in second gear. This one should be completely flat most of the time, unless you've got heavy fuel and cold tyres. You can, again, get away with cutting quite a lot, so you're pretty much all over the track there. And again here, but as long as you're touching the curbs, that's absolutely fine. And then into the final corner, another hairpin. Braking on the curb on the right-hand side, and again, just being really patient with the brake pedal, trailing it all the way in. You can see the brake trace here, actually. Just there. I mean, look how much we're trailing. You've got to hold it all the way into the apex here. And then be really patient. Finally, get back on the throttle, and then let the car run out. I'm actually just going to show you what the Delta file looks like, just so you can have a look at that in more detail. So this is the final corner on the Delta app. As usual, you guys know the drill by now. All the useful information can be found here. So as I was saying, just the brake trace is really, really long. You've got a peak pressure of about 70% just initially, and trailing all the way in until you get about halfway through and you hit the apex, and then you can start thinking about getting on the throttle. Now, while you're on the throttle, you'll also be turning, so the rear is going to be slightly getting away from you. So you can't quite stamp on the throttle. So you can see we peak about 80%, hold it there for a little bit, and then we get back to 100%. So yeah, that's what your brake trace should look like. Heavy on the brakes initially, and then just trailing off, get the nose in, and just be really patient, just holding it around the 20% mark, and then trailing off once we feel comfortable enough to get back on the throttle. And then to finish a lap, short run to the line, sticking to the right-hand side, just take the shortest line that you can, and that completes a lap of the Mugello circuit. So that was the hot lap guide then for week 3 at the Mugello circuit. Hope that was useful for you guys. As always, leave your comments down below and any questions you have in the Discord. Check out coachdaveacademy.com. All the latest data packs can be found there. But yeah, I will see you next week for week 4, guys. So take care.